Hello. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Today's guest is Ginger with Not For Nothing Homestead. And I wanted to welcome in Whisper to Tatum. That is the newest member on my channel. So thank you so much. If you're still in here, Tatum, thank you so much for becoming a member. I think she became a member a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that was
awesome.
That still surprises me when somebody does a membership on my channel. I'm like, what?
Yeah. That's
I
nice.
got my teeth. Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. I think I have about 15 or 16 members right now. Something like that.
Do you do something different for the members?
Occasionally I will. Hello, Kettle Kitchen. How are you?
Hey, Tony.
Yeah, hubby's just coming in. He took our daughter over to back to the house. She comes and visits for the weekend, and then we take her back, or he takes her back.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to wait for a few more people to come in before I start talking about the gardening stuff.
Okay.
Are you joining in on any collaborations right now, Ginger? Do you have any that are out?
Yes, we do. We Nana and I are hosting Spring Salads 2023. So, but that's almost over. I did, what's the open collab with Natasha, the Budget Preppers? May It Last.
Yeah,
so we did that.
Mine just came up on Tuesday. I think I saw it from you. And then I went on the phone and signed up. So mine's like 75% filmed.
Yes.
All I have to do is that last portion where I take the dill off of the dehydrator. But all the other portions of the video are done. Like I did me harvesting it. I did a little intro. Anyway, I just got to put the pieces together. One more little taping and I'll be done with that video. So.
Yeah. It takes a lot more than you think to make a video.
Yeah, I wanted to show the harvesting. It was turning into like a bush. And even after harvesting half or a third of it, it's still like a monster. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's going to put back. It's going to continue to grow because they say if you don't cut down, I don't know if it's a third or 2/3, you're not supposed to cut down more than a certain amount. But anyway, as you can see at the very beginning, I'm cutting really, really carefully. But as I get tired, I just start whacking it off like, because I'm getting tired. I'm like, okay, I have ADD, so I was starting to get bored. And so you can see I get the cuts get a little crazier toward the end. Welcome in, Ariel. Welcome in, Christy Betts. Yeah, I started getting bored, so I started chopping it like crazy. And then I had one big bowl and a kind of a smaller bowl. Then I came in and I washed all of it. And then I sat down and cut it more specifically, taking the big stems out of it.
Yeah.
And maybe leaving some of the small stems there. And then, so it was a process. I mean, dehydrating dill is not easy. Or anything, really. I mean, anything that you need to process after. Hello, Mimi's Dishes. Hello.
That's Pamela Rhonda.
Hello, Maritza Yarn and Crafts. What did you say? I'm sorry.
That is Miss Rhonda. Mimi's Dishes is Rhonda. And Rhonda? She actually had her video go out today, Spring Salads. It's the first video. She has some shorts. First video she's actually done. So I am so proud of you, Ray. It was awesome.
That's cool.
So
really. I'm going on in August. I'll be 3 years on YouTube.
Wow. So goodness. So it's become part of your lifestyle now. Just
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of do more of the cooking in the winter and more of the gardening in the summer. But then I kind of also mix in, like in the winter, I might still do some stuff under the grow light. And then in the summer, of course, I might still do some cooking videos, probably a little less, but still, if I find a good, I like to do the garden to table one where you harvest it and then you make something out of it.
Yes.
So
that's very beneficial for a lot of people to just show them exactly what you can do with your harvest, something different that they may not have thought of. So yeah, I do like those garden to table type videos too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take my dill and I'm going to make it into homemade powdered ranch dip, which I've done before. But last time I did the video, I did it with store-bought dill. This year I'm doing it with homegrown dill that I have.
Yes.
So I don't know if I'm going to take the video down that next step all the way from that point to that. I haven't decided. I'm going to see how long it is after I take the last part and then I'll decide. But
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll definitely have one little piece to tape and we'll see how energetic I get. If I do it, it has to be tomorrow because we're going out of town on Tuesday. What kinds of, have you got to plant in the ground yet?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I saw you doing something.
I think the first thing I did direct though was patty pans.
Okay.
And they look amazing. They're up and they're making little buds. They've got they do like a squash. Because they are a squash. So
yeah, I've grown before. I think it was 2 years ago. But I didn't have any seed this year, so I would have planted some, but I didn't have any seed. So, but yeah, I've had them.
That is like the first thing that I put in the ground.
Yeah.
But I have tons of stuff in solo cups, like everybody else, tons of stuff in solo cups in my greenhouse.
Yeah. I did some tomatoes, some flowers. I did one pumpkin seed just to see if the seed was still good because it was a home saved seed. And I wanted to see if the seeds I saved a few years ago were still good. And that one did come up. And then I got some with the IBG seed swap. I decided to use that because it was newer.
Yeah.
And then I won, after planting 2 regular pumpkins, I won giant pumpkin seeds from Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming.
Oh, so wow.
And it only came 3. It was 3 different varieties of giant pumpkin. I had to make a place to put it. So I just took cardboard and put it down on the ground on a place that had grass and everything. I put the cardboard down. Yeah. I put some leaves. I put some soil from the other side of the yard, some coffee grounds. It was too late to do the chicken manure. I wouldn't have had enough time. And then I think I put some bone meal in there and, regular dirt from the other side of the yard. And then I put fresh topsoil on top of it. And then, so those 2 pumpkins are coming up. I mean, the regular pumpkins are coming up. The giant pumpkins are not coming up yet because I just planted those. So we'll see.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
We'll see on that. But I do have 2 regular pumpkins up. And then I have this thing in the wild garden. I let pumpkins and gourds just die there after I use them on my front porch. So all the green bumpy gourds I got last year, I don't know what they're called. I just call them green bumpy gourds. I don't know what they are. They were some we had gotten. Well, it started growing like in the fall. And then I managed to get 13 gourds out of that last year before it got too cold. So they stayed on the porch for a while and I took all 13 of them and spread them out in the wild garden along with pumpkins my mom got and me regular and then the Cinderella type.
Yes.
And so there's like clumps. I can tell where the pumpkins are or the gourds because it's a clump.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well, but anyway, that's how the gourds came up last year. So more than likely it'll come up this year that way too. So we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
And then right now there's sunflowers coming out the top. And then once they start dying off and looking bad, instead of pulling them all the way out of the ground because they pull a lot of soil when they come up, I'm just going to cut them down.
Yeah.
And leave the root. That way, because I pulled them out of places I didn't want them after I let them grow too long, and it pulled up like a stack of soil. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Hello, Creative Redundancy.
Yeah.
How are you? So
I have done that before, and same thing happens with me. Yeah, I mean, you peel up a sunflower has a tight knit woven roots, and they just pull everything with them. So I've done that as well.
If you want that out, you better do it while it's little, because once it gets big, it's going to rip up your garden. I've made that mistake. Hello, Urban Harvest. Welcome in. Yes. What garden zone are you in? I was trying to remember.
7B.
Okay. 7B.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not too far, but behind. I'm guessing behind me, because your number is lower.
Yeah, I think I'm 7B. I'm pretty sure I'm 7B. I'm right on the edge of 7A, 7B. So I can kind of go either way, but I think there's one of them I get better results with when I plant under that. So I'm going to give you 100% for sure.
Yeah. Are you looking for it or?
Yes. It'll give it to me in just a second. But yeah.
I think I looked mine up, and I found out I was 8A. But 8B is really not too far off from here. So it's right there. I don't know how they do that. I need to research that. Pretty much any subject in gardening that I don't know about, I either ask questions or I research it by looking up YouTube videos or looking at Google and stuff like that. And I have some books too that I read during the winter when it's not gardening season. I'm trying to research about things I want to implement. Whatever problem I have in the garden this year, I want to try to fix that problem for next year.
Yes. Hopefully. Yes. Yeah. What has been the struggle with the I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm 7B. So yeah, 7B. I was right.
Awesome.
So what was the previous problems with the loofahs?
The first year I put loofah where our gray water runs out. So it knocked over the trellis, right? So that took them down the first year. I did get a little tiny one. Then last year they got attacked by ants. Plus we had a really bad hailstorm and triple digits. So done with that. So we're on year 3. Oof. This year I decided to plant them in totes. I think they're about 15, 20 gallon totes. And I have them like lined up. There's three loofah at the back. That way it can grow up on the trellis. And then I have another 3 right here. And then I have 3 pickling cucumber and 3 more pickling cucumber. So my intent is to have 6 loofah, 6 pickling cucumber, and then I have some like flowers and stuff down on this end. So I have all my vining things in containers growing up on the trellis. In containers to keep from getting attacked by weeds and stuff like that. And I've been treating everything with diatomaceous earth, because of ants.
Yes.
So I'm constantly in a battle with ants and all the other things trying to eat my garden. Thank you, sis. Hello, Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. Hello.
Yes. Hello. Yeah, that's I think my first year with loofahs, my struggle was because they like to be direct sowed. They don't like to be planted in a start pack and then moved. They don't, they do not, and not even those, the ones that like Burpee has now that you can put directly, they're biodegradable and you can put them directly in the soil. They don't even like that.
Yeah.
So if you don't direct sow them, they will either die completely back, or they will put up a resistance and they will stall. I had one that stalled for a month, and the other one was growing like crazy. And the one I put on this side just stalled for a month. You just want to plant them where you want them to grow because they don't like it. But we've just gotten to where our weather is good at night for them. It's high enough in the evening time to where I can start planting those. And the other thing I want to do is plant moringa.
Moringa. What is moringa good for?
Moringa has a lot of medicinal purposes. And I can't remember every one of them right now.
Yeah. But it's nothing to those like yarrow and stuff that's like, because yarrow is supposed to be good for pain. We have wild yarrow. Okay. I have one in my tomato bed, and then right toward the corner of where my planters are, like between mowings, the yarrow will grow right back behind the planter there. So, and in the we have our yard set up, and literally hubby put a fence in the middle of the yard, and on the bottom of the fence has chicken wire. And there's the chicken side. That's the shadier side of the yard. And it also floods a little more over there because we're right next to a creek thing.
Okay.
And then I have the other side of the yard, the more sunny side of the yard. Yeah. So, and there's a fence in the middle. Mm-hmm. So the chickens can free range. Okay. And so I have my edge of the yard, and I could plant more stuff, but I don't want to plant more than what we need because it's just the two of us, and then we can share, and the girls come visit sometimes, but mostly it's the two of us. And so but I would love to have plenty to be able to take a box of squash to church and go, hey, free, and just let everybody pick like squash and tomatoes and cucumbers out of a thing and just take it home, kind of like be able to bless them.
Yes.
That would be nice.
We had that once with cucumbers. A gentleman came to church, and he actually had the bed of his truck was absolutely packed. And he actually brought Walmart bags with him and just said, if you want some cucumbers, go get them. There's bags out there in the bed of the truck and cucumbers for days. That was really awesome to do that.
I have one that's about maybe a foot right now. It's just now hitting the trellis. Yeah, I have one pickling. I decided to get pickling cucumbers this year. And if I get enough, I'm going to try to can some pickles. That would be my first time doing that. I've done canning, water bath canning and pressure canning, but not in a while. But I have all the stuff that I need to do it. But I had in my mind I wanted to do my own pickles. So we'll see. I'll have to get enough at one time. I don't even know how many you need at one time to do it. To even do a small batch. I guess I need to do some research.
Yes. Now, in the USDA Complete Guide to Home Canning, they have a bread and butter pickle. If you like those, they have a great recipe that you use pickling cucumbers, obviously. And I went to the store last year, and it was right during the middle of gardening season and harvesting, and everybody was making pickles. So everybody had said, well, go get Mrs. Wages. She's got a salsa. She's got a dill pickle. She's got a sweet pickle recipe. The pre-made mixes.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to Walmart.
I'm glad you said that. I'm going to run to Walmart and grab it now. If I can think about it before they're gone, because I live in a small town, like around 5,000 people. So things that you like are commonly gone. Like at Christmas time, the cans of pineapple juice, I guess a lot of people make drinks with them. We make hot spice tea, but there's other punches and drinks that are made with them too.
Yeah.
And so I try to think of that like late summer, start buying the pineapple juice so I'll have enough to last the season. Because when it's cold, that's our little thing that we make. Hello, Ro. How are you?
Yes.
I just put 2 cucumbers out. Awesome. I didn't do a lot
well,
under the
I went to go get that. I went to go get it at the store, and everybody was out, the grocery stores. So I was like, well, I have to come home and I'll just have to dig through my canning books and figure something out. And I found that recipe in the USDA Complete Guide to Home Canning for bread and butter pickles. And I love those. And I made them. And that recipe in that book is fantastic.
Yeah.
It really is a good one.
I don't have that book, but my friend Lou Ann has it. And I bet she would like, take a picture of it for me. Or I think she put out a video, and the video's probably got the recipe in it. But anyway, I know I could go to her as a source when it comes time, because she has a lot more canning than me. But I need to do it. I told myself, somebody's like, Luann said, I need to can all and fill up all my jars. I'm like, wow, that's a really big goal. I'm like, if I could just can one thing this summer, I'd be happy. Use your stuff that you have. You have a pressure canner. You have a water bath canner. You have jars. Beautiful, clean, brand new jars. Of course, I would still sterilize them because they've been sitting around. But you have plenty of jars. Why are you just, not using your stuff? I don't know why.
Oh, yeah. Everything out of that garden harvest, I would. If you can't can it, if it turns out like mushy, I would definitely dehydrate it. Preserve it somehow, because it's going to be better than what you can get in the store. Hey, Joe.
For sure. Cat's over here digging up something. I don't know what he's doing. Cats. Oh boy. Oh boy. So one of the things I've been having trouble with this year is lavender. But I did my reading on lavender after I planted it. And so I went to the store and bought some more, and I actually just put it in my seed container, and I'm like, I'm good. I did my research. I'll have to try next year, because I think I should have cold stratified it and maybe started it under the grow light. So,
yep. In the fridge, and I think it's about 2 weeks you keep it in the fridge.
And then also elderberry. Elderberry is another one. I planted the elderberry and lavender and some other stuff, and everything I tried to plant, and that little thing wouldn't come up. Finally, I got frustrated and went out there, and I just threw about 4 different kinds of flowers in there. I'm like, if the other stuff comes up, fine, but I don't want this bed to look bad and just fill up with weeds. So I decided to put flowers in there.
Yeah. There you
go. Just to fill
You'll get something out of it.
Yeah, nothing else will help draw the pollinators. I planted every single one of the flowers I received this year, or that I had. I planted every single seed, every single one. And I literally got a bunch of flowers with the Indiana Backyard Gardener seed swap. I planted all of them. The only thing I had left was the Carnal Climbers. And the only reason I had that left, because I only had a certain amount of trellis space. And I only planted a few of those. And so I have a few of those left. Yeah. But I pretty much planted out. I wanted the yard to be colorful.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. It's going to be beautiful. The one thing that I had that I am absolutely ecstatic about was
I've had Sally Homer.
I had peony bulbs. I've had them for 3 years growing in a pot, and I got one peony this year. And it was absolutely beautiful. And I'm telling you, I was the happiest person in the world. I was like, I don't even care that it's just one. I got one. I was just beside myself on that.
I was excited to see my ground cherries come up, because this is my 2nd or 3rd year on them. Finally, I got a cluster of 3 of them up in the bed the other day. I was like, yes. I mean, everybody's like, what do they taste like? I don't know. I have to grow them before I can taste them. But I did see Lori's World. But I finally got the ground cherries up. I was so excited. This is my first year to plant nasturtiums. Awesome. And nasturtiums are beautiful.
They are gorgeous. So
pretty. They are
pretty. They do take a while to germinate. They don't seem like they want to come up right away. It's at least 14 days. and you'll just about give up on them.
I think mine probably took longer than that, but I planted some in some nice potting soil, and I planted some in regular dirt from the other side of the yard, and they came up in both. So they're not picky. Nasturtiums are not picky about their soil. So that's one thing I did learn. I planted it in regular soil because that day I didn't have any. But I wanted to plant some flowers. And it's like, I'll just go on the other side of the yard up underneath the leaves where the ground is, it's nice and moist, and that soil right before you hit the clay, that soil on top is good soil. And that side of the yard has not ever been used for gardening because that's the chicken side of the yard, And of course, they like to leave their little deposits in the compost over there. So,
That's good.
Yeah. So it's a nice area.
Yes, I planted nasturtiums about 2 years ago, and last year I tried to plant them, and they never made it up. They never germinated. This year I've planted some, and I think I've seen the signs of one so far, but they are a great pollinator, and they are great for pests like aphids and stuff like that. They will keep those away.
I didn't know that about them. I did not know that about them. Well, I have the nasturtiums in 2 different places. So I think now that y'all said that, I'm going to move the other pot of nasturtiums toward another plant that I don't want to mess them with. Yeah. Maybe I'll move them over by those ground cherries because those are like gold. I'm like, I may hate them, but I want to know for sure that I can grow them. I want to conquer that. Then I can move on to lavender or elderberries. But I heard elderberries are really hard to grow from seed, so I don't feel too bad about that.
Hello, Mama Beards. I have not tried that. Oh, hey, Mama Beard, how are you?
I received them with the IBG seed swap, the natural gardener. I got 32 different kinds of seed.
It sounds like you went into a couple of different seed swaps this year.
No, that's the only one.
That's the only one?
That's the only one. I did receive a pretty good size seed envelope from Simply Jan Homestead that had probably 20 seeds in it. Yeah. But she sent like a lot of sugar baby watermelon, cantaloupe, birdhouse gourds, butternut squash, acorn squash. I mean, it was just packed full of seeds. As I was going through my seeds, I came across some hollyhock seeds from probably 2 or 3 years ago. Somebody gave me, and they told me they were a bush. So finally I asked hubby to till up a spot, and 4 of them have came up so far. Now I know it's going to take a long time. It may not even be this year, but there are 4 of them that came up. The area looks terrible. Right? It actually looks a little bit like a tomato plant when it comes up.
Oh, wow.
I was kind of surprised. I was like, what is that tomato doing there? I was like, no, that's the nasturtium. If you look at it a little closer, it's a little different than tomato. Yeah. But when I looked at it, I was like, that looks like tomato. I can't wait. They're going to be I looked at pictures of them. They're going to be so pretty. I don't know why I waited so long to plant them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I have some of those too. I should throw some out there and see if I can get
if you looked at the pictures, you would want to get them in the ground. Let me tell you. I saw my friend Jan, she's like, I told her I planted them, and she's like, she saw them. She's like, oh, those are so pretty. I said, I would offer you some seed, but I planted every single one. I was like, plant them or throw them out. You've had these for a few years. Just plant them or throw them out. That was the way I was going this year. And if I get them up, then next year for the seed swap, I'll be able to put some of those seeds in the seed swap because if they get up big enough where they put out seed, hopefully they will.
Now I can grow. I have the lemon balm. I have Italian oregano. I have peppermint and spearmint. I have rosemary. I have thyme. It's called summertime. And all of those grow so well. But I'm going to tell you something, Gail. Every time I have tried to grow dill, I have killed it. I do not know what I'm doing to it. I do
not know
what it likes or doesn't like, but I keep killing the dill. Kill Dill is Ginger's nickname.
The first year, this is what I've learned about dill. 2 years on dill.
Do share.
The first year I tried to grow dill in a pot. No luck.
Okay.
The second year I decided, which is this year, I decided to put the dill in a raised bed where I had composted it with chicken manure. I think there might have been some cow manure on there at some point. I did that a little bit later. Some bone meal, some potting soil on top of it all. There was leaves under there at some point. And that all, a combination of those different things. And the dill is like a monster. So I hope that helps. That's what I've learned so far. I have to conquer a plant. Okay, I've conquered dill. We're going to move on to lavender. We've conquered ground cherries. Finally.
Yes.
I was actually excited because I've been sending pictures to Jen, driving her crazy. Is this it? Is this it? Is it? And then I was asking her, is this the elderberry? I gave up on the elderberry. I'm like, I'm planting flowers in there. If the elderberry comes up in the middle of it, fine.
Yes.
But I was like, I know I didn't do it right because after I looked it up, I was like, yeah, I should have called about that.
Well, I'm going to do that then. I'm going to take your advice and I'm going to direct sow some dill and see if I can get that to germinate. I can't even get it to germinate. And I'm like, what in the heaven's name am I doing wrong? Everybody is all over their lives and the internet and just throw some dill seeds and you'll get it. It'll be fine. It grows like crazy. Just let it go. I go and I buy a plant from, a plant start and I treat it so preciously and I kill it every single time, and it's driving me crazy.
I know. Well, this is where our zones come in, I think. And even our soil, like your soil is going to have more lime or more nitrogen, or it's just I've learned so much about gardening in the last 3 years because any subject. If I had researched the lavender and elderberry, I might have had better luck, but I was just so excited to get it out there, and it may still come up. I've heard people say it might go over winter and come up next year, and that's
I will second that, Gail, because I bought 2 small lavender plants last year. They both, I thought, died. But I thought, you know what? One had like 2 little green leaves still left on it, and the rest of it was like all disgusting. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go plant in the garden. If it comes up, great. If it dies off, no harm, no foul. It looks like it was dying anyways. So I planted it in the garden. And, we had the really bad freeze here this year in Georgia. We're not used to negative 18 degrees with the wind chill factor. And I was like, what? But, and I thought for sure that lavender is gone. It is not coming back. Well, I can take you out there right now and the lavender is up and it is doing really good. So don't give up on it.
Everybody says the lemon balm smells really good, and I'm dying to know what it smells like. I have
so good.
One up for sure, and a few that I think are lavender. I'm waiting for them to get a little bit bigger so I can see. But I've gotten down what they look like now because I know I have one confirmed up,
Yeah.
I mean, like even on the ground cherries, I pulled up the seedling picture and I'm trying to match it. And finally, I'm like, that's it. It matches the picture. Finally, it's big enough. I could see. And then I knew I could pull all the weeds out,
Yeah. And now, do you have an iPhone or an Android?
Android.
Okay, I do too. So when you take a picture, go out and take a picture really close up of it. In the top right-hand corner, when you go to the picture in your gallery, there's a little icon that looks like an eye, like just a drawn eye. Hit on that. And when you do, it will go look for it on the internet to match it.
What?
Wait,
everybody keeps telling me to pull up these apps for plant whatever. And I'm like, yeah. Well, that costs money. That costs money.
Yes.
I don't have any money coming out of my ears. I don't have any money coming out. I mean, I keep looking every day, but there's no money coming out of my ears. So
yeah, that's not what I choose to spend my disposable income on. I'll spend my disposable income on something that's.
I have my little bitty YouTube check. I may get. I'm hoping this month, if not next month. We'll see. Welcome in. Let's see. Sifting some soil. And Jamie's country living. Let's see what he said.
Box of randomness.
What you guys talk about? Box of randomness. I have 4 raised bed bugs.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? This is my theory.
I've done that.
If you don't try it, then you don't know, and you may sit there in 3 months and wonder. So try it. Or try it with half of the seeds. Don't put all of them in there. Throw half of them in there.
I had some seeds that spilled out. And most of them look like peppers, but there might have been a few that were other things. And I just put them in one of my pepper beds out there. I was like, I don't really want to throw them away. I feel like I'm being wasteful or something. So I just put them in my pepper bed. So I don't know. There could be a tomato pop up in there or whatever. Yeah. I was actually surprised how pretty Gail was on the second year. I mean, not Gail, Sage.
Rub it in, Gail. Just Sage? Rub it in.
I'm talking about on Sage, not Dill. Sage. I meant to say Sage.
Oh, Sage.
I didn't know Dill. I mean, Sage was so pretty on the second year. It went to go to seed, and it came out these beautiful purple flowers. And I love purple. I was so excited. I was like, oh, it's so pretty. Now I want to put. I'm like, even if I don't harvest it, it's a beautiful flower.
It is.
I actually put it in a couple more places.
Another thing that has a beautiful flower, and I should post a picture of it. I should have posted a picture of it when they all started going to seed, was my thyme. It's called Summertime. And I swear to you, it has gone out like this. And all of the ends are little teeny tiny hundreds of white flowers. It looks like a wedding bouquet. It is absolutely gorgeous. And it smells delicious. And harvest the thyme
it's little.
at that stage. And it's little. It doesn't change the flavor of it if you harvest it when it's going to seed. So, I mean, you can go out there and pick off a sprig and it smells so good. It is awesome. But yes, sage is absolutely beautiful because it has those big, those big leaves that are such a beautiful.
It's beautiful. I was so sad when I had to cut it down, but I found what I believe to be 2 vine borers. And because it was going to seed and it was done for the year, I literally cut it all up. I harvested the seed. I just cut them all off. I don't know if the seed's going to be good, but I wasn't worried about that. I wanted to get it out of there before it infected the other things in the planter. So I destroyed the vine borers. I was afraid that's what it was. According to watching Nicole Smith gardening about the vine borers, I was pretty sure I had identified a vine borer. So I killed the whole plant. I even poured boiling hot water on it because it was kind of far away from the lettuce. I want to make sure whatever was there was dead.
It was not coming back.
It was not coming back. And so, it was not going to come back. So I was pretty sure that's what it was. And I wanted to get it out of there. And I was like, I can buy more seed if this seed's not good. Plus I had a few left and I planted it in a few other places after I had to cut it down. But I was sad. I had to cut it down. It was so pretty. I did get pictures. After last year, when I had the really bad hailstorm, I started taking more pictures of the garden. because you never know when it's beautiful. Yes. You go out the next day and it's destroyed by hail. So I got to where now I take pictures because you don't know what's going to happen with the weather tomorrow. And I did do the hashtag bless my garden where I prayed for everything, and I'm continuing to do that because it can be destroyed. Yes. Hello, Mike's Chaotic Gardening. How are you?
Yes. You're right. We had a bad storm actually last night. It was horrendous, and it wasn't supposed to be that bad, but it came over us. It got bad, and then it's like it was back building, and it just let loose on us, and yeah, it was bad. So yes, you never know what kind of wind damage you're going to get, what kind of hail, the amount of rain, if it's going to be too much. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Take pictures of your garden. Every time you get out there and you see a moment that's stunning, that just stops you in your tracks.
Like today, I had 5 sunflowers up, my first 5 all up the same morning. One was up in one place and 4 were up in another. So they were kind of facing toward the chicken coop, not this direction. So I went from the other side of the fence, and the cat, Miley, was crawling there. So I took a few pics, and I actually called her over to get her in the shot too. So it's Miley with the sunflowers in the background, 4 of them.
How sweet.
And so I got that. That was my picture this morning. I took
good.
Photo shoot of Miley and the sunflowers. So
yes, you know, the avatar that I have. Oh, actually, I can show you here. Is actually a sunflower that I grew the first year we bought this property. The first year we bought this property, and I went out, and sunflowers always remind me of my grandmother. So I went out and I took a picture of this sunflower because it was big and it was open and it was gorgeous. And then I caught a bee just getting to the sunflower. So this is actually my avatar.
Oh yeah, I do remember.
But that's the sunflower in my yard. And that was just as it was going in to start eating that first sunflower.
That's a really good picture. You know, I wasn't even thinking of that when I put the sunflower in your thumbnail. I wasn't even thinking of that. But that works out perfect.
Yeah,
I just thought a sunflower kick right now. Free Hanley Maiden is asking what she can put by her lettuce, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts that will help with the bugs. Well, I'm going to suggest marigolds. Do you have a suggestion, Ginger?
Yes. No, I agree with you. Marigolds.
You agree, marigolds. Marigolds are good for almost anything. Yes. I've been using them for years with my squash. Mm-hmm. But really, seriously, they're good for a lot of different bugs. But this year I decided, as important as anything else I could grow, I started marigolds under the grow light so that they would be up before I put the squash seeds in the ground. So I transplanted them from the pot that was under the grow light. I put them in a pot under the grow light. And then I transplanted them in different spots. Then I had another pot that had been growing. I transplanted those. So literally between every zucchini, because that's my favorite thing, I have it protected by the marigolds. And literally the squash limb are growing all on top of it now. You can it's so much you can barely see the flowers, but they're there because I'm trying to. And then I planted zucchini at several other spots in the yard to make sure they weren't going to eat up. You know, I didn't want one thing to go eating up a whole thing.
Yeah.
I think
Have a great day, Milk and Honey. Thank you so much for coming by and visiting. The one thing that I do think that I have heard that marigolds will attract is the beetles. Now, I had a problem with the beetles last year. And so, that was kind of hard to get rid of those. They ate a lot of leaves on a lot of plants. They don't really so much eat the flowers, but they will terrorize the leaves to death. So,
I do have some stuff eating on my limbs. Back in the wild garden where I have all the vining plants, the cantaloupe, the watermelon, the pumpkins, all that stuff in the wild garden section, because I don't completely weed that section. It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
Because it's going to eventually be going in 4 directions of vines if it goes right this year. We're going to hope that. Yeah. But then there were some sunflowers that volunteered in there, and I have one that's about 7 foot tall. That's one of the ones that bloomed this morning. Underneath it is all those vining things that are spread out in that area. It's kind of a circle. And I had some caterpillars. I think they were caterpillars. Well, they're little black worms. So I started coming. I put my gloves on. I went out with a bucket of soapy water. I pulled them off and put them in the bucket. I did that for about a week. Hubby did it a couple of days because I had a kidney stone and I was out of commission for a while. So he went out and fought them. And I went back. I've been going out. They're gone. So I don't know if we handled it or what. Also, I sprayed vinegar sage water on the leaves of the sunflowers. And I put diatomaceous earth toward the bottom and threw some out on the leaves too. And those worms are gone. So good. I mean, I go out there every day.
Worms, I had army worms last year, and
are
those
will eat.
No, okay. They're real tiny, skinny. They're black
looking.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what those are. The army worms did some damage to my tomato plants. I was none too happy with them.
Ooh, yeah. Well, I have some critters out there, but I've been trying to pretty consistently. One day I went out there and I don't know what color shirt I had on or shoes, but when I came back in, I had diatomaceous earth all over my shirt, my arms, my shoes. It was everywhere. I had to literally take a shower and change clothes because I had been just throwing it. I also put some on the ground because, of cats and fleas and stuff like that. And just trying to fight the fire ants and just everything, just trying to protect everything.
I know. It's you almost have to be you have to have so much knowledge just to try to combat everything that works against you as a gardener.
Yeah, the weather. And my hubby bought me one of those shade cloths, and I only have one. So I'm like, I wonder which plant I should pick to protect. Like what is the most hot sensitive, I wonder? Like what would it be? Your tomatoes, your peppers, your squash? Like what would get the most use out of that?
I would say tomatoes.
Where?
Tomatoes and peppers are the ones that are going to get the sun scald first for that afternoon and then the late afternoon sun. So I would definitely protect at least the peppers, the tomatoes too, but the peppers really, I had the first year I planted them in a spot before I started the block garden. I do like a wall of sunflowers and I try to get those to come up first before I plant everything in there to combat that evening sun that's so bad. But the first year I didn't have the wall of sunflowers, and on that side, every pepper got like burnt. So,
I haven't been real successful with peppers, but this year I decided I was going to plant a lot. So I have a big, huge, hubby got me these big, I don't even know what you call them. They're like heavy plastic, huge totes, and the sides kind of come down. And so I'm using one for compost. I decided I was going to use the other one for planting. Well, it's in my garden tour videos. But anyway, so I planted peppers in there. Hubby got at his job a shipping container. It had a lid. Well, we took the lid and put it on the chicken coop to cover one side where we thought maybe something was trying to get in there. We covered that because we have 6 new baby chicks in there.
Yeah.
But they're not babies anymore. They're more like teenagers.
No.
Anyway, so
teenagers.
I painted that white. So I have the big, huge pepper bed and then the white shipping container thing. So I have 2 pepper beds. I'm like, and I literally, if they all came up 20, 30, if they all, I mean, they're all up. If they come to a successful point, there are 2 that are pretty good size. So I'm so excited. And then I bought 2 even though I have those 2, before all those were up, I had bought 2 starts at the store. One was jalapeno and one was cayenne pepper, just in case I never got any. So I did already harvest off of the one I bought at the store, but I've got some up on my own. So I didn't have any faith in myself, and then boom, look at there, they came up.
Do you make your own cayenne sauce, pepper sauce?
No, but that sounds good. Yeah. Is that a recipe you have?
You need to get in that USDA Complete Guide to Home Canning. You need to get that.
I need to find that. I need to put that on my Amazon wish list.
Yes.
And while we're talking about the Amazon wish list, my Mother's Day present from my daughter, the oldest, she got me this. And I was trying to decide how I was going to categorize it because it's not big enough really to. So I've got like H is herbs and F is flowers, P is peppers, T is tomatoes, V is vining plant. I could not think of the technical term for what the vining plants would be, but that would be stuff out in the wild garden like pumpkins, cantaloupe, watermelon, stuff like that. Birdhouse gourds, things that stem long. And those have to go out there because they have a lot of room. And then on the side, I have like what it is exactly. So so I didn't do it this year, but next year I'd like to do an herb garden to where I put the herbs all together.
Yeah.
I've never done that. A lot of people I notice on YouTube put all their herbs together. So I think next year I will do that. And probably what I'll do is put it over there by where the dill is, hoping that the dill will come back. I think it's supposed to. And you're going to get dill this year.
I hope
you're going to get dill.
Cross your fingers.
So. Hey, well, I hope you do. I hope you do. Well, I gave you maybe my little tip will help. And I just learned from it. I'm pig-headed. I have to conquer something. I'm like, this year, I think I've already failed on lavender and elderberry, but I did conquer ground cherries. Yay.
There you go.
I would love to be able to conquer loofah. We'll see. We're on 30 year. I always get it up and I always get little ones, but I just haven't got these big, huge ones. Like, and it's actually like a little suitcase.
Oh, that's so cute. That is
a little sticker. I thought about putting a sticker here, but I wouldn't be able to tell my letters, and that way if I decide today I'm going to plant flowers, I can pull out all the ones with F. Today I'm going to plant herbs. I can pull all that, or squash. I can pull, because usually I kind of do it that way. Tomatoes are all in one bed. The vining stuff is all in the wild garden. So, I mean, I thought this is the method I decided on. So
there you go. I mean, if it works for you, that's exactly what you need to do.
That's
the only thing I can give you,
this is what I have left from here.
Yeah. The only tip on the loofahs I've got, well, the 2 that I've got is don't try to transplant it. Don't plant it in a plant start and then try to move it. Direct sow it where you want it.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, once it starts taking off, I never watered the loofahs. They did it on their own. I let them get up and get going really good. And then once I did, we had a couple of good rains. And from then on, I just let nature take care of them. And they grew like crazy.
So I'm probably overwatering it then.
Maybe.
All of them are up a little ways, except for one, it's just the first 2 leaves. The rest of them are up a little ways.
Okay.
So I do officially have 6 or about 6 to 8 up, because literally I kept if it didn't come up, I put another seed, because I wanted 3. I wanted to have 6 loofah. If it didn't come up,
I'm not giving up.
No, because last year I had the hail and I gave up. I said, girl, that was May. You still had plenty of time to plant.
Yeah.
Why did you give up, girl? And then just as I'm losing hope,
but
I didn't even want to go in the yard. I didn't even want to go in the yard because of the failure. Because I don't know why, but it's like something you care about. You want it to, when it's good, and you're happy. And when it's bad, you're like, oh,
you have
to keep trying.
Yes, but you needed a couple weeks to lick your wounds and then come back to it and start all over again.
Literally months. When everybody else was doing their winter gardening and their fall gardening and everything, I finally licked my wounds like a cat. Licked my lips.
Yes.
And I started my composting early because we had the hail. And my stepdaughter had raked up a bunch of leaves into garden bags, and my hubby dragged them all back here and put them there. So every time I would I would work on the area. I would do the chicken manure. I would do the coffee grounds, the banana peels, the eggshells, and I was working on that in the fall. And then I would layer it with leaves. That when I put leaves, that meant you're done. Then I would move to the next container or the next section. And I did that for every section. So that's why it was more successful, because it was such a failure last year and I wanted it to do better. So I worked hard.
No, I get that.
I worked really hard.
Barb's Country Home. Hey,
hello, Barb. How are you?
Maybe I'm behind in chat. And Glenda from Grace and Fire. Hello.
Hello. Welcome in.
I haven't seen a lot of the chat because I have to have it on a separate device.
Hello, Cindy.
I can't see it.
Doing good today. Doing good. A lot of people at that Mid-America meetup. I admit I was a little jelly. I wish I was there.
Yes,
it
did look like a lot of fun.
And I was like, oh, yes, I want to be there. I had to stop watching. I was like, I can't watch it anymore. I'm so excited to finally get my first zucchini. My longest zucchini is about 6 inches right now.
Nice.
I want to pick it so bad.
No, you can if you want to, promote more and more. But
promote more and more what? I missed something.
Growth. More and more growth.
Oh, yeah.
More and more growth. Yeah. So,
I noticed the harder you work on it, the more you're going to get from it. And have you ever fertilized your loofah, or like you said, you just let it go, right? It doesn't need more nutrients after it's already in there.
Nope, I just put it in the ground, and like I said, I watered it a couple times, and then I let nature take over after that, and it did fantastic. But I will say the first freeze that came knocked the whole thing out. They do not like cold weather at all.
Yes. I kind of had them in the ground. So I'm kind of an impatient gardener. So I kind of start about 3 to 4 before my last frost date. And so sometimes the seed will sit in there because it's still cold, right? But it'll still come up.
Yes.
It still comes up. And then once my last frost date came, if it didn't come up, I put another seed in there because I'm impatient. And I told myself I wasn't going to give up.
She made soaps with her loofahs. That is amazing.
I can't wait.
That is awesome.
My sister thought I was playing.
I tried mine out.
Hello. Uh-oh. We lost her for a minute. She'll be back in a sec. She said, I dried mine out, meaning her loofahs. Soaps with my loofahs. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm actually thinking about if I get some, I'm going to give them as gifts to my family members.
Sorry, I don't know.
I'm gonna give some loofah to my family as like gifts or whatever. Like wrap them up real pretty. And so, because my sister was really curious, she's like, "That's really a thing? Yeah, it really. You can literally grow it." So, and I sent her pictures, and she like, "Oh wow, that doesn't even look right."
Yes, I love to dry them and then cut them in pieces, and I use them for sponges. They make fantastic sponges.
Yeah, I want to try them in the kitchen. Also, I heard you could use them for your face or your skin. Are they rough?
Some of them are very rough and abrasive, so you might not want to do that with the rougher ones. Maybe the softer one would be better.
My husband went outside this morning and before church, and he said he saw something had been digging there, and I think it was possibly raccoons. And of course, anytime I hear the word raccoons, I get very nervous because about 2 years ago, we had 4 chickens killed by a raccoon.
Oh,
and so I got very nervous when I heard that. So I started looking up stuff, and there's some stuff you could spray around to kind of ward them off, stuff they don't like the smell of. Cayenne pepper and hot sauce. Since watching YouTube, it's like I need a bunch of spray bottles for all the things. Like I have one that has vinegar and sage in it for the worms outside, right? Yeah. Okay, I need to mark that one. Say what it is so I don't forget. And then when I go fishing, I bring one with peppermint because it helps with the spiders that are on the trellis of the place we fish. And then I need another one for the raccoon stuff. And I need to mark everything because otherwise you come in and you're like, okay, this really stinks, but what is it and what is it for? I need to label it. I'm like, this smells bad, but what is this? Like, what's it for?
Yeah, you need to hit Home Depot or Lowe's when they have those empty spray bottles on sale.
I know, I do. I need a collection. I guess I need to put that in my gardening section. I was going to ask, I like to ask everybody about this just because I'm curious about it. I like to hear everybody's opinion. Like when your gardening season's over, what kind of things do you compost your areas with? Do you have a compost area, or do you do more like compost in place type thing?
No, we don't really have a composting area. I mean, now that's probably going to change this year because we have chickens. So we have bits that we'll be able to compost, and we have a lot of pine trees. So we have a lot of pine needles that we could use to help compost. So that's going to be something that we delve into this year.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I do reuse my eggshells and stuff like that, just dehydrate them and use those in the garden and stuff and those things. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that Freehandly Made had mentioned the eggshells. And I thought I would just mention that the eggshells do take 2 or 3 years to break down. So it's not an investment in right now, but it's an investment in the future. So if you're going to continue gardening, you're putting it out for the future. So I do use it. Mm-hmm. However, I used a little bit too much of it and took it away from giving it to the chickens because I give mine to the chickens too. And so then their eggshells started to get thin again, right? So I had to start I bake them in the oven for about 7 minutes, and then I crush them up and give them to the chickens for their thicker shells or whatever. Okay. But I took them away because I was doing so much in the garden, and then the chickens ended up suffering. Their eggs ended up suffering there for a while. So, and I've never used the oyster shell before, but I actually went and bought some this time, and I thought I'm just going to give it to them long enough till they stop being thin, and then I'm going to stop giving it to them.
Yes.
But I've always used the eggshells instead, and that's fine as long as you're giving them all of them. But since I was putting some in the garden, I was taking it from them, and they needed it. So Edible,
I have seen that before. Yes, when they're smaller, you can cook them. They're like a squash. But you want to get them when they're really small.
This will be my first year to try butternut and acorn squash.
Yes. Butternut.
I've had the patty pan squash and yellow and zucchini, but I've never had the acorn or the butternut. So this will be my first year. And the zucchini is doing really well too, but my acorn squash, I have it growing in a tire. And so for some reason, I got 3 seeds in that tire, and the thing is exploding all over the top and going on to the next tire. I mean, it's fine. Wow. I'm like, I don't know. After it comes past that tire, I don't know where else it's going to go. But anyway, but there's a bunch. So I'm fully going to understand the taste of acorn squash. But right now,
recipes.
Is it round?
Yes. Well, it looks like an acorn, but it's green.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I mean, it's a larger version, but
it looks neat because it's so it looks striped, like it's striped looking. But right now it looks like it's like a bottle. I mean, it's not round. It's like it looks like it's kind of like the shape of what I would think a butternut squash should be right now. It's not like just round. So I don't know. Huh.
I don't know if it's gonna change.
Maybe it's a different variety, or I got seed mixed up. I don't know, but we'll see.
Squash. I had some seeds up
I
here
thought
earlier.
It was green.
Yeah, they're like a hunter green. They're very dark green.
Well, a lot of the. It seemed like maybe somebody did give me one at some point that I used in a casserole, but I've never grown them. But it doesn't look like what I thought acorn squash looked like. My husband's like, "There's none on here." I'm like, "There's like 4 or 5 on there. What are you looking for?" I'm like, I showed him, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I guess he was expecting something green,
I'm very excited for the patty pans to come up. This is my first year growing the patty pans. So, and then I have spaghetti squash again this year, and I love spaghetti squash. So that's up and probably about this tall. So I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah, I like making casserole that has like multiple different kinds of squash in it. So, but zucchini is my favorite. So I always have a really long bed of zucchini. And then this year I got so terrified watching Nicole Smith gardening with the vine borers that I spread zucchini out in different areas of the yard. And I thought, even if you get my whole bed of squash, you're still not going to get all of it because I have it everywhere.
Yeah.
You're not getting.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my plan. Plus, I wanted to do a series on squash recipes. And I think when I do that, I add the acorn squash and the butternut squash, and I'll just, I need to start pulling up recipes for all of that. But there's actually one for zucchini tacos. Somehow and I put it all on a playlist, and I'm going to go back, and when I start getting the squash, I'm going to start doing one recipe a week on the squash. So I will be doing some cooking videos, garden to table.
Yes. And now Dale and Nana from 9 Acre Family Farms, they have a zucchini chocolate chip cookie. And Dale said he swears by those things. He says they are absolutely fantastic.
Did you say 9 Acres Farm?
9 Acre Family Farms. It's Dale and Lisa. Yep. And they love zucchini also. And last year, that's what Nana made a lot of that. And he absolutely loved them.
One year I had so much zucchini that I had zucchini bread so many times that I actually started to change the recipe. And one time I said, I'm going to try nuts in it. One time I tried chocolate chips in it, and all kinds of just different stuff, just because you had so much. I was trying to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Haven't planted squash yet. Oh, and I was going to tell Free Handling Maid because she's new with gardening. Usually your green beans and your squash come up in a couple of weeks. What was the other thing she said she planted? Carrots take longer. I don't know exactly, but if you look on your packet, it'll tell you. But literally, squash is a couple of weeks, and green beans is a couple of weeks. Green beans might even come up quicker than squash. I haven't planted them for a couple of years, but I do remember they came up really fast.
I have some asparagus long beans that I planted. I planted the seeds, I'm going to say about 5 days ago, and they're already popping up. Some of them are like this big.
Wow.
So they call them asparagus beans, long beans, or yard long beans. Either one of those is what people have called them. And they are absolutely delicious. You can, a noodle bean, nothing call them. And you can harvest them when they're short and they're really flimsy, and you can cook them and turn out like a noodle, or you can wait till they're really long and then cut them in bits and just saute them like green beans. And they are delicious.
That sounds good. I didn't have any spaghetti squash seeds this year, but I'm going to put that on my wish list for next year because I do want to try that. I want to try all the kinds of squash to see which ones I like. But
yeah, see which one your favorite is.
Yeah, well, right now it's still zucchini.
Yeah.
You never know.
Have you tried the spaghetti squash?
The what?
The spaghetti squash?
I've tried it that someone else made, but I've never grown it. And that was probably like 10 years ago. But the person made it into noodles and made it like spaghetti. And where the spaghetti squash was the noodles, and it was good. It was so good. Yeah. I do remember that.
They are delicious. Butternut squash has a sweet flavor to it. So don't expect to have something like, a squash, like yellow squash or zucchini. Butternut is more of a sweet squash.
Yeah. So do you think it might not be good to mix in a squash casserole because of the flavor is so sweet, or you think it would still be good?
I mean, I think probably still good. I've never tried the 3 squashes together, but you never know. I mean, hey, I always say try it once, especially if you get an overabundance of butternut squash. Might as well.
Yeah. One of the videos where I decided to leave the blooper in because it was really funny. I was making a squash casserole, and I think I had it shredded or something. And I went to put the zucchini with a spoon into the bowl that I was making the recipe on the video. And it made the weirdest funny blop sound. And I just started cracking up. And I left it in. And I left it in, and then people say, "Oh, I just love that video because you're just laughing. You can't." And I could try to continue to talk normal, and then keep bursting out into laughter during the video. Oh my gosh, it's so fun! I managed to finish the video. I did not edit it. I left it in. It's really funny.
I got a little kind of like that because I said something that was like not normal for what I usually say when I was starting the video. And then I laughed at myself and I was like, well, that was weird. Why did I say that? And then when I laughed, I snorted. I don't ever snort. I don't know where that came from. And I was like, did I just snort? I've never done that before. And I just made that whole blooper into a short. Took it out of that video, but I made it into a short. So you'll have to look for my snort short.
Ooh, yes, I do. I need to look for that. That's a good idea. I can go back to that old video and pick out that part where I'm cracking up laughing and make that into a short, do that as a remake. That's a great idea. I love that. I should totally do that. So I'm thinking Mike is telling us how to cook the butternut squash. Heat oven with butter, our cream on. So put some cream on it, like cream. Like heavy cream or like sour cream or like what kind of cream? I need a more specific cream detail. What kind of cream are we? Because I really want to cook it. So, and then
said butternut squash.
About butternut squash soup. I'm going to write that down.
It is gorgeous.
For my recipe, squash. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to look up a recipe because remember, I'm doing squash. I'm going to do squash recipe. Ought to totally make that a collaboration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Squash recipes, just any kind of squash recipes, and just have everybody sharing their squash recipes along with me. That would be neat.
Freehand Lene is absolutely right. Butternut squash soup is delicious, and it is a beautiful soup when it comes out. It's very fall look. It's very tasty.
A lot of people cook. My mom used so some of the recipes I'm going to do are my mom's. Okay, of course there's classic zucchini bread, which I did change a little bit from the recipe of my mom's. My mom never actually used brown sugar, but I use a combination of white sugar and brown sugar, and it kind of just gives it a richer, darker, like a extra flavor profile there. I don't know what the brown sugar does. It kind of brings it to that old-fashioned flavor. It's really good.
Yeah.
Then I have one squash patties. I have squash casserole. I mean, and I also started adding some to a playlist because I was going to recreate some videos. I have some new people in here. Hello, Boondocking with Boomer. Hello, Sweeney's Creek Farm. Welcome in. Welcome in. Butternut pumpkin is great roasted in the oven.
Hello.
Is it
onion and garlic? Yeah.
Is it that they add the word pumpkin to it but he's just talking about butternut squash, right? Is that what you think, Ginger?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Because, I think he's just talking about you're talking about regular butternut squash, right, Steve? Or, oh my gosh, how come I can't remember Steve? I can't remember her name. So many names. So many names in the memory box.
Yes, I agree. There are.
I guess I can remember Steve because he has the channel Bomber Steve. So that makes it easy to remember because the name was right out there. Yeah. Butternut.
He said they call him butternut. But
yes, I figured, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually awesome. I remember when I was watching Shed Wars videos the first year when I was in Shed Wars. I was watching some people in Australia, and I think it was Josh's mother. I'm trying to remember what her channel name was, but I think her name was Sue. And she was like, something, the beetroot. I can't even accent. I can't even do that. The beetroot. I can't, my tongue don't even do that. I have a Southern tongue. I don't even do literally, this is what you don't know. In my videos, there's a place where you could speed up your talking. I speed it up by a little 1%, like 1.1, because I actually talk a little bit slow. And so I speed it up so that I'm not dragged, because I know the northern people are like, oh my gosh, is she going to spit it out already? I'll listen to my garden tour videos and I just make the stupidest jokes. I'm like, fine, that's who you are. That's who you are. Leave it in. That's you.
That's part of your channel. Yep.
That's part of that's me. That's me. I'm a Southern girl. I say silly things. Buttercup squash.
Me too.
There's a buttercup squash.
I don't know. I've never seen that before offered. But, there's so many things that you can get out of the gardening seed books that you can't get at your big box stores and the seeds there. They don't have a lot of variety, the unusual varieties. Yeah. Like I did not know that there was a strawberry tomatillo. Oh, yeah. I didn't either.
And I received the purple tomatillas, I think, from the IBG seed swap. And I received the regular tomatillas from groundskeeper Cody sent me like 10 or 12 different packs of seeds for some reason. I don't know. I planted as many of them as I could. That was really nice of him. Hello, Craft and Cake with Billy. Welcome in. Hello, Claude Ortega. Welcome in. We're talking about some gardening and talking about
we have in our videos. We did plant the purple tomatillas this year, and they are like this big now. So I'm very excited about those.
Yeah, I have mine. Mine are about that size too. And because I planted those first. And then I planted the regular second because I received those from groundskeeper Cody. And then Adrian with Adriana Backyard Gardener said, I realized I did not send you the strawberry tomatillas. So then she turned around and sent those to me. So she sent 2 different.
Wow.
So we have 3 different kinds of tomatillas growing. And so they're like the purple is big.
Strawberry.
Yeah, strawberry. I guess they're going to be red. Wow. This is my first year with cayenne pepper.
But are they sweeter?
I'll do a taste test. We'll see. On the regular tomatillas, I have a dip that I make. I've actually done the dip on my thing. I call it green dip. And a place I used to work at, somebody used to bring this green dip. And and they were kind of like the mean girls at work. So they would never tell us what was in the recipe. So I said, guess what? There's this thing called the internet, and you can look up anything you want. And guess what? I looked it up, and then I had the recipe too. So try to be mean to me. So I got so now I have the recipe, and I wasn't intending to ever bring it to work and show up your recipe and steal your recipe for work. I wanted to make it for my family at home.
Yes.
I was not trying to steal your thunder.
Yeah.
I just wanted your recipe to make for my family. So,
I mean,
I got some attitude because I was like, how mean? You don't want to share your recipe? What? So anyway, I looked it up. I found it. I knew the base of it was sour cream. I knew it had jalapenos and tomatillas in it. So then other than that, it's like powdered ranch and
bye, Sweeney's Creek. Thank you.
And cilantro.
Yeah.
And literally I have all those things growing fresh in my garden this year. So I can literally I can make it with totally fresh ingredients. Matter of fact, when I get my first couple of tomatillas, I'm going to do that. Yeah. Ooh, that would be pretty with the strawberry. It'd make it kind of pink.
Yes. I'll have to look those up. I'm intrigued by the strawberry tomatillas.
I know. I didn't even look at a picture of it myself.
Yeah, I've never heard of them before, and I think I'd be very interested to grow those as well. So I'll have to look in my seed books, my mini seed books, and see if I can find those.
I was watching.
You got them?
I got them from the Indiana Backyard Gardener seed swap, and if you're looking for a good seed swap to get into, this is the best one. Yeah. I got 32 different seed.
Wow.
I know. So the requirement was to send in 3 packs of 10 seeds, and I think it was 3 or 4 postage stamps. Yeah. So I decided to send in 6 packs of 10 seeds and maybe 6 or 7 stamps. So I tried to do over what was expected of me.
Yeah.
Experience Africans, thank you for coming in. Welcome in. So she literally got every single thing on my list except for the regular tomatillas, which I said, literally, I was a little bit sad, but just a little bit because I got all this other seed. Yeah. And then literally a month or 2 weeks from that point, I got those surprise seeds from groundskeeper Cody. And there was the seed that I wanted. So there was my, look at that blessing, just came right out of the air.
Yeah.
And so there you go. So she
took like Glenda from Grace and Fire was in that seed swap too.
Yes. And Nicole Smith Gardening. And I think I was watching someone. I don't know if it was Nicole or if it was Kathleen with My Alabama Farm Life. But I was watching somebody's video and they got the strawberry tomatillas, and I was like, oh, there's strawberry tomatillas. I'm like, and I was feeling just a little bit jelly. God forgive me. I was feeling a little jelly. I was like, oh, she got strawberry tomatillas. I was and that was the only thing I was jealous about. And then literally a week or two, she texts me and she's like, oh, I forgot to put these in there. And so then she sent them separately, and I was so excited. And those are the last ones planted, so they're really tiny. So it's going to take a while on those.
Yeah. But, Creative Redundancy, thank you for stopping in.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Side chat. Let's see if I have anything else on my... I'm still doing the hashtag Weird Container Growing 23. The prize is going to be a $25 Amazon card. And what I'm going to do is everybody that joins in the collaboration, I'm going to make a video where I call out everybody's name. In the chat, they're going to vote for the channel they want to win. All the things are in a playlist, and whoever they vote for at between a certain time, I'll put that in the video, that's who's going to win the $25 Amazon card.
Oh, very nice. That's a good
so I thought I would put that out there while everybody was here.
Yeah.
And it's basically growing in anything that is not a conventional pot, not conventional. So some of my things are, I planted in a baby pool. I planted in a trash can. I've planted in, one of those little, the pails that kids do the sand with.
Yes.
The sand pail. I poked some holes in that from Dollar Tree, and I bought 2 of those and planted flowers in them. So it could be flowers or vegetables or herbs, anything. And we've had people plant in a purse, in a hat, in rain boots, in a sink.
Oh God!
In a boat, anything you can imagine.
You name it.
As long as you can get a hole in it for some drainage, you're good.
Yes.
So very, very, very unique ideas.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Upgrade your seed packaging. Yeah. I had some like craft stuff, and I had a little thing that made little squares. And so on the back was like a printed little thing. And then on the back, I just wrote what it was. And I wrote from Gail Southern Living or something. So they would know who the seed came from when they received it. Because, it said like Grace and Fire sent flowers. I think hers was mostly flowers, sunflowers and stuff like that. So her sunflowers are up. I planted those, I believe, in the old desk. That was one of my years of weird container gardening. We had an old desk, and he got a new desk for me. And so I took it, turned it over, and planted in the desk.
Yeah.
Well, the desk is kind of coming apart now.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of working around it. So I mostly have flowers in there. And then kind of on this side over here, I made a little bed to the side. And that's where my 2 regular pumpkins are growing. Yeah. But they're set up where they can grow out toward the back of the yard and have lots of room for giant pumpkins and regular pumpkins.
Yes.
Cantaloupes and watermelon and honeydew melon and everything you can imagine.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Hopefully we'll get some of the. I've never, ever got a watermelon. I have gotten cantaloupe. I have gotten pumpkins. Never watermelon. This is my first year to plant honeydew. I planted regular watermelon, but never sugar baby watermelon. But this year I have regular watermelon and sugar baby watermelon.
Oh, good. Well, good luck with them. I hope it works out good for you.
And the pumpkins, I've never actually processed them, but I might if I get enough. Most of the time, hubby will get like a hay bale for the front porch for the fall. And then I'll set up the pumpkins, boards and stuff in the front yard. When the year's over, we take that hay and use it for chickens. So we reuse, we waste it. And it's up under the thing, so, it stays dry. Yeah. I probably need to do something else with my seed things, but as long as it has the name of the seed, there's not really any instruction.
Yeah.
I'll be honest though, most of the time I don't read the instruction. However, I probably needed to read it on the lavender and elderberry. But the elderberry, I didn't have an instruction because it came in a little, a little plastic,
Yes, like
little
a
tiny
Ziploc.
Ziploc bag.
Yes. Yeah.
Lavender was in a package, but I wrote out all the stuff about lavender. So next year I have it in my seed container. I'm going to read that before I plant. And so I'll know.
Okay.
Now I know that's a more complicated one that needs more special instruction.
Yes, there are those that will surprise you what they need.
Vitamin bottles. That's definitely a weird container. Yeah, I think somebody planted in a Pringles can.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
I forgot who that was, but yeah, somebody planted in a Pringles can. Like, the plastic ones.
Oh my God. That's funny. Yes, that is funny.
Yes, I'm a little late with the lavender news. I already planted it, and it's probably not coming up. But my philosophy is if it doesn't come up, put another seed in there.
Yes, there you go.
Do you do any companion planting in your gardening?
Usually I like to do more intercropping. So just, the things that some things grow down, some things grow up, and just plant those together because you can get more in a square footage area.
Yeah, use your space wisely.
Yes.
I do better with overseeding my tomatoes.
Yeah.
Overseeding them. And the year when I got the most tomatoes, they were literally so crowded. But we have T-post in there. So whatever's closest to the T-post can kind of get tied off on that. The rest of them kind of hold up each other. But one year we had a ton of tomatoes. We literally, I had to get hubby to help me to process all the tomatoes. There were so many done at once. And we've overcrowded the tomatoes again. There's probably about 10 or 12 different varieties on that one strip there. So we're gonna have tomatoes.
That's going to be nice. Yeah.
Yes, it is. And from seed, so they took longer. Other people already have tomatoes. I do not have tomatoes yet.
No, I don't either. So don't feel bad.
I know. I see people picking them and eating them. Like, oh, they already have tomatoes. What?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Don't stress over it, Gail, because I don't.
I know. Simply Jan Homestead made the comment. It's like, oh, because her zone's behind mine, and she's like, I'm not. And she would hear me I was on Marco Polo. Oh, today I'm planting this. Today I'm planting that. She's like, man, you're motivating me to get out there and do more. I said, well, I'm trying to make up for last year because I really did terrible at it. Well, it wasn't me. Mother Nature killed everything, tried to kill everything, and then I just gave into it. But I'm not doing that again. I'm relentless. If hell takes it down, I'm going to take my little seed box and I'm going to plant again. If I don't have everything tonight, I'm going to plant what I can.
And I love that box. That is so neat.
It's so convenient. I mean, it keeps you, because there's some things you think to yourself, do I really need more than this whole container of cantaloupe seeds?
Well,
and
you never know. I mean, I feel like you can never have enough seeds.
I did keep a lot of those, the birdhouse gourds that I got from Simply Jan Homestead. I kept a lot. I probably have 4 little packs of seeds of those. But these are the weirdest seeds I've ever seen. Now, I just planted them, so they're not that far along. But these are some weird seed. I don't know if you could tell. Let me pull that down real quick. I'm going to make myself big for a minute. Okay.
Oh, Glenda doesn't have tomatoes either. Yeah, that's just like just like a large birdhouse gourd as well. Their seeds are the same.
Yep.
So, yep.
So I did keep a lot of those. She sent me a bunch. Okay, so I have probably 4 of these. I didn't keep a lot of everything, but I did want to keep these. And I took a lot of those little tiny seed packs and packed them up of 10. So I might, I might give some more. I gave a few away. I might give some more away. And I might even add some to the seed swap for next year. Because it is a little bit more rare of a seed, I think.
Yeah.
That people might want.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have the small birdhouse gourd, the large birdhouse gourd, and then the loofahs. And they're not, the seeds don't look the same, but the 2 different types of gourds are pretty much, their seeds look the same. So
yeah,
I'm going to try those again this year too.
I haven't planted. We'll see. They're out in the wild garden. They just have to fight for their way there,
Yes. Yeah. Everybody has to fight for their place.
You have to fight there. That is not a weeded part of the garden. There's weeds. It's a mess, and I just composted on top of stuff there. Just kept composting the stuff there. And then I had some ants crawl in one of my soil bags. So I literally took that soil and put it in the wild garden and poured boiling hot water over it to treat it, to get the ants all dead out of there.
Yeah.
And put it up because I didn't want it in my regular bed. But
no, I don't blame you.
Oh, I have been fighting those fire ants. Those fire ants, they hate me.
Yes. No, they are pretty vicious. That's for sure.
They are. I hate it. Do y'all have them there where you're at?
Yes, we do. Not as bad as other people have them, but we do have them pretty bad.
Do you plant in mostly containers, in the regular ground, or in raised beds?
Mostly containers and raised beds. The ground, we don't do anything that's delicate, because we do have clay soil and lots of rock. So
we have clay soil too. Yep. The only thing in the regular ground is the wild garden is considered the regular ground, but it's got a thing all the way around it to where it's almost really a raised bed now, but it has the little scallop edges. I don't know what you call them, use it for flowers and landscaping. It's got that bricking scallop edges. I don't even know what they're called. We have that out there. Yeah. So it's almost really a raised bed because it's been built up. It's not, if it goes down far enough, it will eventually hit clay, but it's probably about a foot before it hits the clay, I would say, already.
Yeah, no, ours is right on the top. Right on the top.
The hollyhock is straight in the ground because I didn't have anywhere else to put it, but I was determined I was going to use those seed or throw them out.
Yeah.
And the seeds were still good, and I've had them for 3 years. So
that's
the person that sent them to me, I did not put them in the ground because I did not have anywhere. I mean, I had a place to put them, but I needed hubby to go out there and chill it out for me. You need to get off. You're laughing. Somebody make you laugh?
Yes, we got to go feed the animals. So
I was like, she's talking to somebody over there.
Yes. We've got a yard full now, whereas we didn't used to have quite so many, but now we have a yard full. So it's there. We've got people squeaking toys, jumping on the sides of their pens, oinking down and chirping. So I want to be fed.
Animals everywhere. Welcome in.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you coming up, talking about gardening with me. That's what we're doing right now. So let me know if you have any collaborations or anything coming up that you're going to do. Let me know, and I'll stop by and support you. Hello, Rushing Wind Mountain.
Definitely will. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for inviting me today. I've enjoyed it. I learned some stuff too. Yeah, I always love it when I learn stuff. So
yes, I love reading stuff in the chat about gardening, listening to other people and hearing how they talk about things. And so I'll never get the idea of putting it in the loofah in a seed starting thing, because now I know it doesn't like transplanting. Because I probably would have tried it eventually, but I hadn't got there to that point yet. So,
yeah, I tried that and failed. So I'm trying to save you a step because I tried and failed. So,
well, I hope that my tips about the deal will help you.
I hope so as well. I'm going to take them and move forward with it. Again, I thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. So I will let you know an email if I have any collabs coming up. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. All right. See you later. Bye, everybody.
There we go. Hi, Vineyard Chicks Homestead. How are you? So she's been on for about an hour and 40 minutes. So Garden State Gardener will be starting at 6 o'clock. If I have a mod in the chat, will you guys put up the link to Garden State Gardeners Live? Tonight, his guest is, let me see if I can remember who he said his guest was. Now, let's see, 6:40. You might be able to get on the wheel. I'm not sure if I want to say he probably stopped putting in people on the wheel about 10-15 minutes ago. Let's see I don't know who his guests are this week. Does anybody know who's the guest on Garden State Gardener this week? I want to say it was Mountain Grandma and Yogi Hollow Farm and some other people. There's about 4 different channels he was going to have on this week. I'm going to throw up the link if anybody wants to come up and chat just for a few minutes. I'll do about another 10-15 minutes, and then I will head over there. Yeah, Yogi Hollow Farm. I was trying to remember what the control key was for putting the link out. Why can't I remember? Thank you, Vineyard Chicks Homestead. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to put the link up. Oh, Vineyard Chicks, you're so lucky that you have a young brain and you can remember things. Welcome in, the Budget Preppers. How are you? I'm going to finish the last tiny little piece of my video for your collab, and I will get that video going up on the day that I need for it to go up on. I just have one little tiny piece. It's almost done. Almost got the video done. Yeah, I was going to try to put the link up for you guys to come up and chat for a few minutes until Garden State Gardener started, but I cannot remember what keys to click on to do that. Let's see. I'm looking at my list to see if there's anything I need to mention. The hashtag Weird Container Growing 23 collab is open until July 30th. And every person who makes a video on their weird container has a chance to win the $25 Amazon card. I'm also going to do a fundraiser to buy one of those grocery carts for the homeless people. My mom and we go and hand out food and toiletries to the homeless. And I wanted to do a fundraiser to give out one of those little grocery carts for the people who have bags to carry and they have to carry their stuff around all day. I can't imagine trying to push my things around all day long. I mean, it would make you think twice about what to keep if you had to literally push it around all day. I do have a video coming out this week, and I'll try to link my PayPal in that. So if anybody wanted to contribute to that fundraiser I'm going to do. So I have a video. I'm trying to think if there's anything I didn't mention. I've had a little list of stuff I was going to look at, talk about while she was here. Hello, Bushcraft family. How are you? So that's basically what we have going on. I'm really proud of my new seed container that I got. It's pretty neat. It's like a little suitcase. Well, at the bottom, you can see all the seeds. I have that many seeds left after planting. I have a little coating system on it. And I have some seeds that aren't in here are ones that I plan to give away or use for seed swap. But it's my little coating system. And on the sides I have marked what this was on my Amazon wish list, and my stepdaughter picked it out. It has I went ahead and took whatever paper came with it. I cut that out and put it on there. Some of them I wrote it out because I didn't have anything like birdhouse gourds. And also I could do a real quick inventory and see what kind of seeds I'm going to need for next year. And I kind of already have a little bit of a list going for that. Also, I know what seeds to put on my wish list for next year. Yeah, I love it. I think they look like Tic Tac holders. That's my idea. I really think they look like, because that's just like what a Tic Tac holder was like. It has the little spout where the Tic Tacs would come out of, and then you could pull the top out, and then you could put it back and punch it down. Tic Tacs. It's neat. I like it. It's very compact. Like today I said I had a pot that I had put soil in. Hubby was digging out something, and it was regular soil from the ground. And I said, I need to put something in here, but it needs to be something small because the pot's not really big. So I was thinking herbs. But I couldn't really find any herbs that I wanted to grow that I'm not already growing or want more of. So I decided to put some flowers in there. So I put some Shasta daisies in a pot. And I could just kind of pour out how many I wanted into my hand and then put the little pack back in here and then bring this inside. Of course, even if it got rained on, it would still be okay. It's also good from the critters like mice and things. And it's pretty sturdy. Little suitcase of seeds. I mean, I have about 15 little sections left. And so, I'll have enough, like if I save seeds this year from any of my things. I'm hoping maybe to harvest sage seeds, hollyhock seeds, zinnias, and marigolds flowers. And my lettuce keeps trying to go to seed now, but I wasn't trying to save it. I keep pulling the seeds off and then putting them down, pulling them off every day. I'm like, stop trying to go to seed. Just keep growing. But yeah. Uh-oh. Hello, Jerry Rigsit. How are you? Overdid things today. Yeah, I do that sometimes. I get out in the garden weeding and stuff like that. I pretty much got everything planted. I mean, if I notice something's not coming up or is dying out or something, I'll continue to put seeds in there. But the main majority of the planting is done. Unless hubby drags home some kind of container for me to plant in, I don't plan. I don't really have any more space. I may have a few pots that aren't filled. But I mean, I have probably 12 different kinds of flowers, 12 different kinds of tomatoes, 8 different kinds of herbs, 4 different kinds of squash, 3 different kinds of tomatillas. I have a lot of different stuff. Lots and lots of stuff. Tired but loved. Tired but loved. Well, being loved is good. I need to make a video. Of me making my iced coffee. I started this iced coffee thing a few months ago, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good recipe. Stuff you probably already have at your house. Not all of us have a Starbucks or could even afford Starbucks if we had one. So yeah, I make my iced coffee at home. Like yesterday, I woke up. Hubby did not make coffee. I was like, oh, I can't wait for coffee. I'm too tired to wait for coffee. So I just pulled out my blender, made an iced coffee, and I went ahead and made enough for 2 people and brought him an iced coffee. So we had iced coffee instead of regular coffee. So I'm always keeping like jars, and I save the coffee that's left over from the day in the jars in the refrigerator, and then I make my own iced coffee. And I can have it anytime. Like if it's say 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, I'm like, oh, I feel so tired. I need caffeine. I'll just make myself a little iced coffee and have that. It gives me a pep for a few more hours. And then after, watering the garden and doing a little weeding and maybe watching some TV and stuff like that, it's pretty much time to go to bed. So you had enough pep for the time that you were going to be awake. Yeah, I like iced coffee too. I actually like Starbucks coffee too. Not the coffee, the Frappuccino. Caramel Frappuccino. Oh my gosh. You guys haven't passed your last frost date yet, Vineyard Chicks? Gracious. I finally figured it out. Sometimes it takes a little while for things to hit my brain. I'm like, that's why the Vineyard Chicks do so much of their gardening inside, because they have such a small window of growing. So that's why you've gotten so good at. I wish I had more area for that. I did put on my Amazon wish list a hydroponic growing system, which I'm hoping maybe to get for Christmas. But also the seed holder was on my Amazon wish list too. But my daughter got me this for Mother's Day. And hubby looked at her and he's like, what is that? He's like, oh, it's her Mother's Day present. But what is it? It's a seed holder. He looked at her. She was like, for seeds. For seeds. She picked it out. I picked it out myself. So I have on there like some rare seeds that I can't find in the stores here. And what else do I have? Oh, I have grow bags. I'm going to try to do grow bags next year. I don't really have any grow bags, but I'm hoping to get some. I have it on there for Christmas, or like if I get my YouTube check, I might pick up a couple of things. But I've got so much planted now, I'm going to save it for next year. If I do get the grow bags, it'll be for next year's growing. I still have my grow light from the Vineyard Chicks. That's the only one I have. I still use it. For right now, it's plenty. At some point, I might add another grow light. But I'll use it for a few months and grow up what I want to grow up for the season. This year I did peppers, marigolds, tomatoes. I tried some pumpkin seeds to see if they were still good seeds. So, and that one did come up. So the seeds are still good. Yeah, and I figured that out too, that's why you grow hydroponically a lot, is because you have a short growing. I think Mike's Chaotic Gardening and the Vineyard Chicks are both in the same state, I believe. I believe you're in the same state. I didn't know if y'all knew each other. Mike's Chaotic Gardening and Vineyard Chicks Homestead are both in the same Michigan. Is that right? You're both in Michigan. Garlic. Ooh, garlic. Garlic is hard. Minnesota. See, it's one of those M words. I was almost there. I had the M, I had the N, I had the A. Minnesota, Michigan. No, Michigan doesn't have an A in it. Anyway, yeah. But okay, you're in Michigan. So Vineyard Chicks, where are you at? Are you in Minnesota too? Garlic is hard. I tried garlic once. I haven't gone back. I'm kind of pig-headed about if something doesn't grow, I keep going. But for some reason on garlic, I tried once and I didn't try again. But you never know. I might pick up that challenge another time. For every good thing I do right, I do a couple of other things wrong. So I got my ground cherries up, but I didn't do so good on my lavender and elderberry seed. But you never know. They might come up later. They might come up next year. We'll see. But I have more lavender seeds, so I'll try again next year. So I think lavender... Yeah, so this is my second year of lavender. So next year will be my third year of lavender. Oh, sometimes it takes a couple of years. Mitten. Vermin. Let's see. It grows well here if the vermin don't get it. Yes, the vermin. Yes. Oh, it's almost time for Garden State Gardener. Okay, so the link is in the chat for Garden State Gardener. And so I'm going to go ahead and end the live so you guys can go check out Garden State Gardener. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you to the members of my channel, the Vineyard Chicks and Whispers of Tatum, which is my newest member. Lavender is hard. Yes. I learned a little bit more about lavender. And I wrote it all out and put it in my, the bigger container. And that way next year, the research is already done. I'll pull it out when it's time for lavender and I'll read my instruction and I'll get it started. Thank you, Vineyard Chicks, for putting that up. I appreciate it. So I've enjoyed all of your craft lives that I caught. And I did get to catch part of your worship song and little tidbits of teaching this morning. Didn't even really know you guys did that. I just happened to click to see if anybody was live before church. I thought, well, I'll listen to somebody. Usually I try to listen to, on Sundays in the morning before church, try to listen to someone who's singing Christian music or doing a sermon or reading the Bible or something. So I happened to catch you guys and I was like, perfect. Because you want to build up before you go to church. You don't want to, And then after church, I'll listen to everybody talk about everything, gardening and all kinds of stuff. And I wanted to tell you guys, for every one video of yours that I watch, and I'll leave a comment on, I'm adding another one to my watch later list. So for every video, I'm not watching one, I'm watching two. But the second one won't have a comment because that one's running during the night. So I thought I would tell you guys that are in here right now. I will see you guys over at Garden State Gardener. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate all of you. Bye, everybody.